Paul Finlay, I don't know what you make of that game this afternoon. Monaghan coming into this, I suppose Dublin were being looked at as favourites to get what they need to stay in Division 1. So as a Monaghan man, you're obviously delighted, but are you surprised?
Yeah, somewhat surprised by the performance. You just didn't see it coming from Monaghan. The scoring average coming into today just wasn't at it, for Division 1, especially with Dublin coming in with momentum. You were thinking that they were hitting a different trend than what Monaghan was, especially after last week against Kildare. But, what a performance from Monaghan today. They didn't start all that well. Dublin went 4-1 up, and the next thing Monaghan just found a way into the game, and a brilliant goal from Sean Jones. His first league start this year. He's been dogged by injury, but a really exciting prospect for Monaghan. Gary Mohan causing all sorts of problems for Dublin in the defence, and Jack McCarron, what could you say about his performance? It was just sublime. Everything that you would like about a forward, Jack McCarron displayed it today. There was dummies, there was beautiful scores kicked off left and right. There was a beautiful, chipped goal, but that we love to see in Gaelic football guys displaying these sorts of skills like so. And then did that all-important score at the end when it looked like maybe Dublin had snatched a draw with a late penalty. For Jack to stand up on the 45-yard line and be able to kick a free from that with all sorts of pressure on, credit to them, credit to the team. As I say, I didn't see it coming, but they got the job done, and it's another Houdini act, you could call it, but it's just what Monaghan do.
Absolutely. I just want to go back to Sean Jones. Actually, it's an interesting one because, as you mentioned, his first league start, he had a chance similar to his goal a couple of minutes previous. He had to go over the bar under pressure with the Dublin defenders, but he comes back, has another go again, and that shows great character, I suppose, in the player, and it's a kind of score as well that then inspires the rest of the team.
Yeah, he's just a confidence, he's a brilliant forward, and brilliant forwards have the confidence in themselves, to, even if they have a bad miss, they just go again. And, for a young fella, it's credit to him. And as I say, his first start this year in the Division 1 campaign, against a Dublin team that's really, really strong. He had it all to do, and he was up against it, but he showed great character, just as did all the team today. As I say, backs were to the wall. And this is maybe when we see Monaghan at their best, when they're being questioned by their own, questioned by the outside media, etc. You really see them coming out and giving a display. And this was really special here today. And with the sun shining, last day of the league, Division 1, and they've retained their status yet again, and they're heading for a 9th season in Division 1, which is remarkable.
Yeah, it really is incredible. I suppose, did you see when Monaghan came out in that first half, I was talking to Desi Farrell, the Dublin manager, just a couple of moments ago, and it just seemed that Monaghan were the team, although we knew that both sides could get relegated, the Monaghan players looked like the ones who really were, determined and driven on by that fact. They were more motivated maybe than Dublin were.
Yeah, it's fair to say that maybe Monaghan, there was more on the line for Monaghan. Does Dublin, relish that their status in Division 1? You have to think that they do, because that's what the best football's played, the top level. That's where the All-Ireland winners eventually come from. The stats show that. So for them to make the drop to Division 2, I don't think will sit well with them, no matter what they say about coming here today. So I just think they were met. They were not allowed to get into their stride. It looked like they had started the game well, but Monaghan certainly got their game going, and Dublin just didn't have no match for that. Yes, they got back into it, and it looked like both teams, possibly going to get relegated, after 72 minutes, 3 minutes, with that late Dean Rock penalty. But ultimately, I think Monaghan got what they deserved here today with the performance. I think they had the better performances on the day, and just everything that is good about Monaghan football was displayed here today, and what we've seen over the last 10 or 15 years, and it just hasn't gone away, and that's really pleasing to see.
Another thing, I suppose, when you look at the forward line, we gave them a lot of praise today, and rightly so. Gary Mohan actually is a man we never mentioned in the second half. I thought he had a great performance. But as well, you look at the back, the Monaghan defence really didn't give the Dublin forwards any chance to create anything.
No, the Monaghan defence, there was some great turnovers in the first half. Yes, Monaghan did start to tire a little bit at the end of the first half, and you're thinking, that the half time came at a good time, just get in and get some water on board and try and regroup, and that they did. They come out and hit the ground running again. But the Monaghan defence was just sublime today again. Drew Wiley hasn't had as much game time as he would have liked this spring in the Division 1 campaign, and he's been really disappointed. But he was instrumental today in what Monaghan did, and what everything that was good about Monaghan. Some key turnovers, really aggressive in the tackle. You're just not letting Dublin settle into their stride, and to a man, every other Monaghan player was in the same sort of zone, and that just went in the, with the performance, and it really got the crowd going behind them. There was a couple of trademark Drew Wiley turnovers where he comes out comes out with the ball, and the crowd, the Monaghan crowd, you know, in the Clonus stands, as only they can do, get behind the team, and you could feel a great energy, and I think the team really, you know, played off that.
And just finally on Monaghan, before I want to ask you about the Dublin performance, but it was interesting that when Dublin drew level in injury time, you could feel there was a bit of a groan from the crowd, and you're kind of thinking, oh, if this seeps out onto the pitch, will the players be affected? But they weren't.
No, and that's testament again to this squad. You know, they didn't panic. You know, there was a long kick out. You know, there was possibly a little bit of fortune in how it broke. You know, the referee called a free fairly early in the play, and they found themselves with a free kick. You know, and you know, you could say a little bit of luck, of course, but you know, you still have to go out in there, and that, you know, things could have, you know, when that game went to a draw, it could have equally, you know, they could have dropped their heads, you know, and maybe said, look, it's not going to happen for us here today, and it would have been such a, you know, I think a bum note for the game to finish on, because it possibly would have meant Dublin and Monaghan being relegated, and it would have been a, you know, a really disappointing finish to the day, because it, for me, you know, and anybody that came to see this game here today, it was really special performance. It was a special occasion, but it was a special atmosphere, you know, for a league game, and you know, for Monaghan to come out on top, not good for Dublin, but you know, they'll regroup. But a really good shot in the arm for Monaghan as they prepare for the Ulster Championship. James
McCarthy got sent off for Dublin in the second half, and you know, players like himself, Brian Fenton, Kieran Kilkenny, some of the big Dublin players who've done amazing things with that team over the last number of years, played a big part in winning 8 All-Irelands of the last 11. It just maybe didn't seem to stand up and be counted today. There was just maybe something missing with the bigger players that you would expect to lead Dublin in these kind of matches.
Yeah, you know, I think Dublin will be disappointed with their performance today. A lot of their key players probably just didn't get to the heights that they would have liked. Coming off the momentum that they were coming into today, you're expecting them to kick on to another level again, and that's where I thought Monaghan would maybe struggle with these guys, you know, finding their form. But they were knocked right back on their you know, on their heels again today, you know, and there was some flat performances from those so-called big players, and you know, it's just back to the drawing board for them. They've been relegated. They have to regroup now over the next few weeks to try and give the championship a run. You know, the stats don't tell you that, you know, a team can win from Division 2, but I think it was 95, maybe Dublin were relegated and went on to win the All-Ireland. So I don't think all's lost for them, but it's certainly a blow, and it's something that Dessie Farrell will have to work hard at trying to lift all his troops.
And looking at Dublin now and ahead to the championship, you know, I suppose they would be expected to get through Leinster and into the qualifiers, but from there, what's your own kind of read on Dublin and how the year might pan out over the summer?
Well, as I say, all is not lost for them, but we can see that there's a drop-off from where they were, and the dominance that they held over all of the teams in Ireland, you know, and they were brilliant. They were brilliant to watch over the last 10 years, and you know, everything that they've done. So there has been a drop-off. That they're noticeably trying to blood new players in there. I think there's lots of talent. Those key players that we talked about, they will find form again. They're all young enough to do that. So I don't think all is lost at all, you know, over the next couple of seasons. This season and into the next few seasons, I think Dublin can regroup, but it's going to be a challenge, coming off what they've done, 6 All-Irelands in a row. You know, no team has done that before, so that brings pressure, and they're probably suffering a little bit with that, just with having to bring so many new players in at the moment. So it's probably difficult. It's a difficult place for Dublin to be this afternoon, but I think they'll find their way again, and they'll be certainly a force to be reckoned with as the summer goes on.
Now look, we'll finish with the team of the day. It was there were great scenes once the whistle went and all the supporters came out onto the pitch, and the players have been staying out here, so I think there's still some of them there signing autographs, taking pictures. It's great to see, but that's the kind of motivation as well that will drive Monaghan in the Ulster Championship. They've got down first. If they can overcome down, there's the likes of Tyrone, Fermanagh, Derry waiting for them. How do you see their Ulster Championship going this year after what's been a brilliant performance today?
Yeah, well, coming into today, I felt if Monaghan could get a performance, you know, that would, you know, bode well for the championship, because I do like the mix in the team. There's a nice blend of experience and youth. So even with a defeat here today, but a good performance, I think they're going to head into the Ulster Championship with a spring in their step, you know, after a Division 1 campaign where there was some good performance and some not so good, but you know, some green shoots. But with the performance today, it's just an extra boost. It lifts everybody's mood up a little bit more, you know, as they go training over the next few weeks. You know, another Division 1 campaign to look forward to in 2023, and you know, credit to all those players that have stuck on. You know, Conor McManus, Colin Walsh, Darren Hughes. You know, those guys are around the Monaghan scene for a long time now, and you know, it's just credit to them. You know, that's what's really keeping this squad together. It's what's keeping this Monaghan team in Division 1. And you know, it's just a really positive day. It's a great day for Monaghan. Any day we can get, you know, 15,000 people out onto the pitch after a game, you know, that's just, you know, people can be proud of their team today, because it was a really, really good performance, and they deserve to retain their Division 1 status.